Some new big reports are slowly coming out on the ban towards the New Day, and we'll also take a look at some big updates and breakdowns with everything Alexa Bliss related. Let's start things off with these big reports for the New Day. The New Day has already established themselves as an all-time great WWE faction with the run that they had and are still having in WWE. The group first appeared together way back in 2014, and a pretty unbelievable stat, they've been together ever since for over 8 years now. Sure, they got split up here and there from WWE drafts, but in terms of an actual Shield-like betrayal from one of the other members, that has never happened. The Shield barely lasted 2 years together. A majority of WWE factions and tag teams feel like they end way too prematurely at times. It feels like they're getting a year or two together and then it's the start of their breakup story. But the New Day is one of the extremely rare cases in professional wrestling that we've seen a faction stay strong as a unit for 8 whole years. Kofi won the WWE title during that time. Big E also won the WWE title during that time. And Xavier Woods won the King of the Ring tournament as well. Not to mention the countless amount of tag team championships they've won over the years. We say all of this because the new report that we're about to get into regarding the new ban on the New Day's name. It was reported earlier this week that WWE will not be referring to the team of Big E and Kofi Kingston as the New Day. Commentators are allegedly banned from calling them the New Day. They're to be referred to as simply Big E and Kofi Kingston. What's the reason behind this change? Well, no one really seems to know. The report claims that it's something that came down from Vince McMahon's office, and of course, you have to follow what comes down from there. It's a bit weird because in times past, any combination of these 3 members were always referred to as the New Day. Whether it was Kofi and E, Woods and Kofi, it doesn't matter. Any combination of the members were always referred to as their faction name. But that doesn't seem to be the case moving forward. Big E and Kofi are not looked at as technically being the New Day right now, and no one knows why that is. Xavier Woods is reportedly coming back from injury soon, so things will get even more interesting once he returns. Are you still going to avoid calling them the New Day, even when they have all 3 members back together on SmackDown? It's something to keep an eye on. Another issue that fans have been discussing a lot lately is Big E's post-WWE championship run. Like we always talk about, when you lose a world title, you either go down a path of still looking like a strong, credible challenger, like Drew McIntyre or Bianca Belair, or you unfortunately fall completely off the map, like Big E. Fans have been discussing how Big E went from main event WWE champion to being randomly moved back to SmackDown with no explanation to team up with Kofi. Remember that when Big E first came to SmackDown, commentators said he was here because it's a Royal Rumble season. So maybe that meant superstars can just appear at whatever show they want. But then Big E was actually fully shifted over to SmackDown with no storyline explanation, and has been set back to the tag team division, losing opening matches on SmackDown. So it's pretty rough to see what Big E has gone through after his WWE Championship run. But maybe some great things are still on the horizon. Maybe Big E turns heel on the New Day and starts another dominant singles run. Hopefully Big E gets back on track with some big plans. The end of Alexa Bliss's therapy sessions is finally here, and it has fans asking a lot of questions, so let's dive in. The session starts with what seems to be a fully normal Alexa Bliss. Her hair is fully down again, which is a big deal because that's something we haven't seen since mid-2020. The therapist gives Alexa Bliss the real remains of Lily from Extreme Rules, along with a replica doll, and says he has an idea. His idea was to fill the replica Lily doll up with a stuffing from the original Lily doll, and he gave it to Alexa as a gift. He says that Alexa is cured, and how she'll remain cured if Lily is close by her at all times. Alexa's hair is now back to being rolled up the way it was when she was the original Lily. Alexa then booked herself to take that last spot in the Elimination Chamber match. The ending was obviously not what we were expecting. Maybe we had our expectations way too high. But some other logic issues that fans pointed out was that the whole point of these sessions was to get Alexa away from Lily. But the closing moments of that session included the therapist packing up the old possessed Lily doll into a new doll and telling Alexa to keep it close by at all times. So it's pretty laughable at how the story turned out. The sole mission for this therapist was to move her away from Lily, and instead he just creates a new doll for her. So yes, that is pretty silly, no defending that, but not the ending we thought we'd see from these sessions. But the other thing that did happen over these last few weeks was that Alexa did change in some fashion. When Alexa was announcing her entry into the Chamber match, they were flashing some of the old Play Pain graphics and playing her dark theme song. So as expected, we're still seeing some version of that Evil Is Mine Alexa Bliss. But maybe it's a remixed fashion. The split personality theory is still a pretty good guess. Alexa did seem perfectly normal in that first session, but she gets the new Lily doll back and she's sort of reverted back to her old ways. So maybe it becomes a thing where her personality depends on how far she is away from the Lily doll at the time. If Alexa is in the ring, away from Lily, maybe we'll see more of that normal side again. But if Lily is close by her or in her possession, then that's when we'll sort of see the 2021 Alexa come back into play. A lot of fans are pulling for Liv Morgan or Bianca Belair to win the Elimination Chamber match to face Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. But with Alexa Bliss entering this match, she now has become the big favorite to win this match. Do you think Alexa is really returning after all this time and coming off that loss to Charlotte just to get eliminated or submitted inside the chamber? Doesn't make any sense to instantly take away her return momentum by handing her a loss here on her first night back. So Alexa should definitely win the chamber and go on to face Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. That's a huge match right there. These two feuded over the SmackDown Women's title way back in 2016. It was Becky's first title reign, and Alexa also got her first title reign by defeating Becky. So there's a lot of history there, but ever since that feud, Alexa and Becky haven't really crossed paths much at all. So it's a very fresh matchup that we haven't seen in a very long time. Obviously, both characters are in a much different spot right now compared to their first few meetings on SmackDown back in 2016. It'll be interesting to see how this big-time version of Becky Lynch interacts with whatever this new version of Alexa Bliss is like. It's an early prediction, but you can argue that Alexa Bliss could be the favorite there in that match with Becky Lynch. Like we said before, Alexa has been nowhere near a singles world title since 2018. It's been a long drought for Alexa Bliss, and this may be the matchup that gives her a world title reign that she's waited 4 years for. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments, don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.